Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a bit split when it comes to this presentation. On one hand, I should not play a role of an expert because I don't like the word. I have a distance to Facebook phenomena, but on the other hand, I'm an active user of Facebook, and I'm using the Facebook. I'm starting every day from logging to Facebook. So I would like to start from statistics. Usually we have 110,000 persons in our direct circle. I assume that half of you have children at high school age, which will give us the number of 50 or 100 children. We are sitting in this room, and from our research it transpires that only 15 persons talk to your children about safety in internet, about the safety and security of profiles. Of course, these statistics will be a bit higher because we are all interested in this topic. However, of all the people sitting here, only 15% were trying to make the children aware what are the risks that they have not set their privacy settings. In the presentation, I will try to focus on particular cases, so to make you aware what children at the school age are doing. I will cover three phenomena. The websites which are used for establishing contacts, hated websites which are used for promoting hatred, and I was looking for a good notion or good term, but best chicks from the high school, and the high school students are presenting their pictures, and they are using quite controversial names. Facebook did away with anonymity when it comes to promotion of hatred. A few years ago, there was this protection that we published comments under our nick, and we were not able to trace it to an individual. There was this safety event which made it impossible to trace an individual to their comment. But Facebook did away with that, not only in the space of the portal, but also in other social services when young persons meet and they use. I will come back to this topic at the end when I will cover these three pages. And please remind me that I have a task for you to do. If I forget about it, please wake me up to that. Spotted. What is it all about? Let's assume that we are all high school students. We are sitting in our school and we are meeting in the conference. And since I met many interesting persons, I would like to trace you using Facebook. So I'm setting up a spotted website related to the 7th conference, and I ask my friends to like this page, and on this page I'm placing the comments. I saw the person in the 2nd or 3rd row. Please contact me, and I'm giving the address, and we can meet in real life. We can exchange our address or telephone number. And please imagine that there are around several thousand pages like that in Polish Facebook, and they gather several thousand fans. And they are used for spotting persons in individual cities, but they are also the pages to trace persons in clubs, discos, and other places. And I wanted to make you aware of the fact that it's not controlled. If a girl at the age of 16, 15 or 14, and she said that she saw a very interesting boy, she's giving her phone number, we never know who will get this number. And remember how the proportions have been reversed in the internet. Facebook did what everyone was warning about 5 or 10 years ago, and the warning was that you should never disclose your data. Just like we have 120 persons sitting here, and let's assume that everyone has a Facebook account, only 12 of us took care for our privacy settings. In case of all the other persons, I can look up your website and see what's your favorite colors, what you do, what's your hobbies, what kind of events you are involved in. And if a person sends their registration to the site, it is easy to look up any profile. The same applies to a person who would like to harm a child. She or he can easily access such information. A second type of the website, which is pretty shocking for me, even though I'm quite an active user of Facebook, I've seen pretty much everything on Facebook. This fist with English word hate was really shocking. When we see something which we do not agree with, which we would like to criticize, we put a comment under our name and surname. When it comes to the phenomenon itself, it's not a problem. If we criticize the wrong pavement, or it's a different story when it is not an event or an infrastructure part or a or transportation network, but a person that we meet every day in our school. I'm only showing one example from a high school. You can read it for yourself. I'm not going to cite it. It is full of vulgar words, malicious comments. And in order to make you aware of the scale of the problem, on the next slide, on the left, this is the first website with hits from Google, and we have about 22,000 hits. And of that, we will get about 1,000 pages. On the right side, you have the results from Facebook. And imagine how is it in practice. A person who is attending this high school and sees a person whom he doesn't like because this person doesn't have a smartphone. Then this person can enter a website which is devoted to this high school, places a vulgar comment which is aggressive, full of hatred. It doesn't give, or this person doesn't give the name and surname, but it doesn't matter because the websites are liked by 80 or 100 persons. Someone can say it's not many. We have the sites which are liked by 1 million persons, but 80%, maybe 50% or 20% of this community. So even though a name is not published on such a hated website, everyone pretty much realizes who it is. 2 days are enough, 4 comments are enough to make it crystal clear who this child is, and think about the reaction of such a child. And Facebook is eliminating such pages. However, there are so many of them, and not everyone is announcing that or warning that such pages exist. I'm turning your attention to this serious problem. because I want to show you what's happening. And whenever you see a word spotted, hated, you should know what is it all about and what does it translate into in reality. The citation is very storytelling. It's the hottest chicks of this high school. If you look up the history in my computer, well, I would be in trouble because I could spend 4 hours on various profiles of high school students, and they are following the same principle. The girls are publishing their pictures in order to be assessed by their peers. Well, it's nothing new because everyone likes to be socially accepted. To make it even more interested, a boy can also be in this category. Even boys are sending their photos. Quite often there is a name to such a picture. Of course, this is very dangerous. But what else is happening on such websites, and how can it impact on the psyche of such a child? On the profile, we often see contests. What are they all about? For example, a moderator decides that 10 pictures will be published, and the girl which is receiving the least number of likes is eliminated, but she's eliminated in a very explicit way by crossing her in red on this picture. So she must seem horrible. To make it even funnier, or in order to stimulate even bigger horror, very often getting to such site is a reward. If you take a look at the comments under such profiles, you will see that the girls were waiting 2 or 3 months to end up on such a website. A short characteristics. When I'm talking about Spotted Hated or other website for pictures presentation, it's not that the boundaries are rigid. The promotion of hatred is ubiquitous. Usually it gathers not many fans. The longevity of such profiles is low because usually it is a person who is setting up such a profile. He is usually bored after a short period of time. There is this superficial control by administrator. Usually you have to send your picture to an email address, and the child might think that somebody is taking care for these pictures, but you will never find out who was the founder of such a profile. If we have a small community, it is quite easy to identify who is attacked, and the acceptance of aggression is another feature of this kind of websites. Violence breeds violence, that's obvious. And this, we can say, is a form of communication in Facebook which is accepted. The best films with music are not nearly as popular as those on which we have a derogatory or humiliating film. This kind of materials have the biggest potential to gather viewership. people just love to express their hatred to others. And now we are moving to the task. The comments are not only Facebook, it is also tens of other websites where people are spending their time.
The easier, the more difficult it gets. The more people we post onto the internet in order to move around, the more difficult it is to protect our privacy. This system of adding comments on Quake and the Motivatory, two most popular services, makes it possible for our comment to appear directly from my account. So a task for you. Just after you return home, or maybe tomorrow afternoon, evening, try to become a stalker. Use Quake or the Motivatory, choose a person and try to find out 10 things about a person using his or her Facebook profile. What school he or she attends, what pet she or he has, what's the eye color, who is the best friend. And you will be able to gather 90% of information for one of 10 people, and without logging onto Facebook, using those apparently harmless websites. Facebook made it so easy to navigate through these websites. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all from me and some statistical information before I leave you. In the UK, we performed a study last year. We plan to do a campaign or to conduct a campaign in Poland this year. However, I do not expect there to be major differences between the UK and Poland. You can read from the slide. And why am I mentioning this? I am not a teacher. I'm not a trainer. I do not work at a school. And I do not know what should be done in order to help a child who ends up on such a website. However, what is children usually would not be willing to let you know about it. The only thing that comes to my mind is for you to screen the emails or the activity of a child. A child would suffer in silence. The only thing that could make it apparent if someone that hates the child writes about it and this becomes public. I would like you to know what all these things are about, and once you hear about them and you find out about them, you could act. Because if something happens within a middle secondary school, it is quite easy to find out which of the children started up this profile or this site. So the best thing you can do is try to move these problems from the virtual world to the real world, to notify parents, to notify school psychologists, because there are hundreds and thousands of such websites, new ones created every day. Should you have any questions about my presentation, should you wish to ask advice or maybe to ask which websites, which types of services, which portals, which networks you should pay particular attention to, I can still help you. I'm still young enough, I'm still up to date enough in order to tell you about this. However, every day I am surprised by new developments. So if I can be of any help, please do not hesitate to write to me and I'll be at your disposal.